Hey guys, we're going to open up a pack of Genesis Battle of Champions. This is the Origin set. This is the newest set from Genesis Battle of Champions. The newest set comes out in March, or I think Q2, so it's like maybe end of April or something like that. I don't know, but either way, we're going to open this pack, and it's going to be dope, and hopefully we get some big hits. The pack trick for these seem to be, I think it's 4 from the back to the front, kind of similar to Pokemon. We actually have an aura tracker card on the back of this token, which is kind of cool. So there's token cards, which are actually cards that you can use outside of your 50 card deck. And essentially, so there's cards that like replicate. See how this one says trigger replicate? So this would be the token you would put with this the burn, I don't know how to say it, Bernavadi, I don't know, Bernavadi. So when you when you beckon the Bernavadi, you would also get one of these. It would have a trigger which would replicate it, and then you'd have 2 of them, and you'd play that from your subconscious, so you'd have 2 of the same card. It's pretty cool. Good mechanism. So yeah, tokens they live in your subconscious, which is like a subset of cards that essentially that work aligned with your deck, but they're not part of your deck. They're only used under the circumstances from your triggers in your deck, essentially. All right, guys, let's get into this. Oof. Okay, so we got a Fire Strike, which is a 1 fire damage ability. 2 awareness. We got a Right Uppercut, which is a technique, which does 4 damage, and it costs energy, 5 energy. Actually does a lot of damage, and it's fatigue. So if you hit a champion with that, then they would have to discard 4 cards before mitigation. You got a Rhino Virus. This is an electric attack for 3. And it's a pretty balanced card. It's 3 health, 3 damage. Firehound, very similar to the Rhino Virus. It's just the fire version, essentially. And this one is 3 fire attack and 3 life. Now there you go. So there's the Binaviridae. I don't know how to Binaviridae. So when you beckon this guy, you'd trigger, and you'd get to summon another one of those. So you'd put this here, and then you trigger this one adjacent to it. I think it says, yeah, facing the same direction as it, adjacent to us in a spot. So it could technically be in front of you, it could be behind you, or it could be on this side. It's kind of cool. Definitely a cool card. The replicate is really strong. I use a card called Bacteriophage in my Alta deck, and it's just like a bigger version of this card, but it costs a lot more chi to have in your deck. Now, the one thing about all the replicate cards is they don't have swift attack speeds, they have actions. So they could only move 1 time and then attack. They can't move 2 times and still attack. Also wouldn't be able to be used in response. But I mean, it's still 2 summons for 1 summon, right? And it's only cost 9 auras, so it's pretty good. So we got a Pain Imp. This one's really cool because it costs life instead of aura or energy. And it has a 2 fire attack, and it also has a swift cast fire damage. So it has a swift and a action. So essentially, if you only need to move 1, you could use its action for more damage, but if you need to use it in response, you could use its swift, or you could move twice and then still use its swift. That makes sense? So Tower Sphinx, this one's a really cool card. So essentially, this card has 2 life, it's got 4 chi to put in the deck as a cost, and then it has a 2 air damage on a swift, and then it's got a continuous stack modifier. So while Tower Sphinx cast ability is the 3rd ability on the stack, it deals 3 air damage instead. So if I put this guy's attack on the stack, and then say this one is attacking, and then say this one is attacking. If I were to put this one after this, these two guys are attacking, this would actually do 3 damage instead of 2 damage. Okay, so we got a backstep. This is a technique that allows you to move in backsteps awareness. You could move either 1 step or 2 steps back, 2 squares. And it's a 5G. It's good for evading spells or casts. So Pelarafa. Now this one has a really interesting range. It's got a range water attack, which is 5 damage, which is really good damage, but its range is actually 1 in front, so it's it could hit. Let's move all these cards a little bit, but if I have this here, it could hit this guy over here essentially, so that's kind of cool. It's a high cost card. I don't know how good this one is, to be completely honest. I think there's better cards. Protective Barrier. It's super clutch card. So what this card does is it prevents all damage dealt to you and a target in Protective Barrier's awareness. So not only does it shroud you from damage, it also shrouds one of your summons. And it's for the rest of the round, so nobody could deal any damage to you after that. Super strong card. So the awareness on this one refers to where your champion is in proximity to the summon around it that it could block damage from. Aura Purge is an alteration, also a trap. So you can place this on an occupied spot in the arena, and it costs 5 energy. It's a 5 G cost to put in your deck, and it got 6 life. So all alterations have life, and you can kill them as well. So what it does is if a champion leaves the spot Aura Purge is on, they must pay 8 aura. So for champions that don't have a lot of aura, this can do a lot. So say I play Essa only has 85 aura. So I mean, if I got hit with one of these, I lose 8 aura off the bat. That's a whole summon or a cast of a spell. So it's pretty big. Champions on Aura Purge cannot draw cards from abilities they play. So that's another cool tidbit on this card. So we have Hellchasm. Oh, this one does a lot of damage. So you deal 6 fire damage to everything in Hellchasm's awareness. Place a Hellchasm from your subconscious on everything every spot in Hellchasm's awareness. So I don't know if I have a chasm alteration, but from what I remember is the chasms actually, I'm pretty sure if the summon is left in the chasm at the end of the round, it just dies. So it's a super strong spell, but it costs 2 life and 21 aura, and it's also on an action speed, so you'd only be able to move once before casting this. So it's a risky spell, but it can do a lot. It's essentially a good board wipe, especially if those summons that you've attacked are already exerted. Okay, what do we got? Ooh, we're going into the rares. Nice. So we got a Warping Sweep, which I find this is one of my favorite cards. So essentially, you can play this and warp to it. You can also, it's also on Swift, so you could play this in response to an attack on you, and then you can literally warp out of it. So you could warp, and then if you've warped, you get this trigger, which does 4 damage to a target in Warping Sweep's awareness, so these 3 spots. And then the trigger, again, if you've dealt the damage. So if a champion or summon is dealt damage by Warping Sweep, then you may move to a spot adjacent to a target in Warping Sweep's awareness. So you could essentially go back to the same spot, or back to another spot. Around, you can kind of dance around the target that's adjacent to you. Okay, what's next? Ooh, Lava Rider. Lava Riders are so strong. So Lava Rider has 2 forward awareness. It's a range attack for 3 damage. But the really cool thing is that it actually brands the target with Firebrand. So then this, for the remainder of the round. So if the target is branded with fire damage, they take 1 extra damage from all fire damage for the rest of the round. So super, super strong card. I'm actually going to probably tack this right into my Shun deck because I would like actually a multiple ones of these, but I only have a couple copies. So that's super, super cool. So that's our origin pack there, guys.